Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, today we're making a fun and sweet card. We're using my brand new collection over at Spellbinders called Make It and Bake It. Well, a few items from the collection. We're going to be using the stamp set called Sugared Expressions. We're going to be using the die set that is named Cool It Cookie Rack. We're also going to be using the Fluff Frost and Roll die set along with the Cupcake and the Made with Love. So we're going to mix and match and combine them to create a really sweet card. So let's jump in and get started. First off, we're going to make some cookies. I feel like a baking channel, but we're going to our Cool It Cookie Rack. And there's a circle in here that we're going to cut out with some Nina Desert Storm cardstock. I'm going to cut out 3 circles. And then we're going to use the swirly for today. Let me zoom in a little bit more. The swirly we're going to cut out with a couple shades of pink cardstock. We'll do 2. I'm going to do 1 light, 2 dark pink. Okay, and then also in the Cool It Cookie Rack, we're going to cut out some flowers. So I have some white cardstock, and I'm going to make 3 flowers. So I need 6 of these die cut. And then for the leaves, we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to use some pattern paper. I have some plaid pattern paper here. We're going to cut out some leaves with this. Okay, while we're die cutting, I'm going to die cut out my cookie sheet. My cookie sheet I'm going to cut out with some Spellbinder Seaside cardstock. Okay, and then you could do the cookie sheet 2 ways to add dimension. I'm going to take this piece and cut this out with the same plaid cardstock. Let me grab a piece. The cardstock, the pattern paper that I'm using is from scrapbook.com. It comes in these little A2 sheets, which I just love, and there's lots in here, and I like the weight of these. Let me take some out. That's actually really cute too. But I'm taking the green plaid, and we're going to cut out this rectangle with the green plaid. While we're die cutting, I'm also going to take the Cool It Cookie Rack. We're going to cut that out with white cardstock today. Okay, and as far as the Cool It Cookie Rack, that's all I'm going to use. Oh, we need some flower centers too. Oops. I also need some flower centers, so I'm going to cut them out with, let's see, I think we're going to cut these out with some light pink cardstock. And I will run these through my die cut machine, and I will be right back. My die cutting with the Cool It Cookie Rack is all done. We're going to do these in different sets, but I'm going to take this. I already made 2 cookies, and all you have to do is flip over the swirly, add a few dots of glue. Okay, and then you can attach it. And then all you have to do is layer it on the circle, and you have some fun swirly cookies. Now I'm going to go 1 step further with these, and I'm bringing in my glazing glue. Okay, usually I wait for the end to do this, but I'm going to do it now. This way it sets by the time I finish everything else. So I'm going to go around my swirly with my glazing glue. Okay, and then, it's okay, buddy. And then I'm going to be using my Hero Arts Icicle Glitter. It's like a white chunky glitter. And let me bring in some scratch paper. I want to go over it. We'll tap off the excess. And then my cookie has some nice sugary sprinkles. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my other 2 cookies. I'll just find a spot that I don't have the icing, and then we just add a little glaze. You can do this with glossy accents too. Add a little sparkle, and we'll set this aside to dry. This will dry by the time that we get to the end of our card and start our layering. These should be nice and dry. And then I'm finishing off with my last one. Okay, you'll hear bells in the background. That's my grand doggy. Okay, I'm going to funnel this back in here. And that's all there is to the cookies. As far as my baking sheet goes and the baking rack, we're going to layer them all together. So I'm going to actually put this back, grab my glue, and I'm going to add a little dimension to my baking sheet by adding this piece here. We'll just layer that on there. When I die cut it out, my lines are a little bit crooked, but my cookie sheet's going to be crooked, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, so that's layered. And then with my cookie rack, we're going to layer the cookies on here, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Okay, in the meantime, we'll make our flower. I already made 2, and I thought it would be fun to use pattern paper. The same pattern paper that we use for our baking sheet, I thought we would use for the leaves. So all I'm going to do is add a little dot of glue here. You can see 2 layer beautifully together. And then I'm going to add my leaf. Add a little bit of glue. Then I have my flower center that we just add there. And so now I have 3 flowers. Good to go. Let's put this so I don't spill it. Now we're going to do a little bit more die cutting. We're done with this set. Now we're going to bring in the Made with Love die set. This has a real fun apron in it, but the only thing that I'm using in here today is the cupcake. So we're going to take the cupcake liner and also the little cupcake. It has a cherry too that you can add to the cupcake. I'm also going to get the leaves that go with the flower that's in here. Okay, I'm going to bring in some more cardstock. And I'm going to create 3 cupcakes, one with dark pink, one with light pink. So I'll cut out my frosting with both of these. And then I'm going to use some more craft cardstock and cut out my liner. So I'll do 3 of these. And then for the leaf and my cherry, I'm going to bring in some green cardstock and I'll cut out 3 leaves. So I have 2 cupcakes that I made, and I'll show you how I made it. It's very simple. All I do is add a thin bead of glue at the top of the cupcake liner, and then we can add the frosting. Okay, and then when you cut out the leaf, now when you cut out the frosting, you also cut out the cherry. The easiest way for me to do that is just take a red marker and then I just color in that cherry. Rather than die cutting it out again with red cardstock, just coloring it in for me is always easier. I'm going to go ahead and add a little glue at the bottom of my leaf, and then we'll add the cherry. The leaf is small enough to use for the cupcake too. Okay, not only for the flower in that set, but also for the cherry here. Love that. And then we can add this cherry here to that cupcake. And we have 3 delicious looking cupcakes here. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use my tape runner. I'm going to grab my adhesive. I'm going to put it behind my cupcake, and I'm going to layer my cupcakes a little bit wonky on my cooling rack. We're going to go kind of wonky here, and we'll do the same thing with our 3rd cupcake. That's the best thing about this collection, is you can mix and match. I mentioned that during my my introduction, and if you guys missed the introduction to this collection, I'll link it down below. But you can mix and match the elements of each of the SKUs, which is really fun. So I have the 3 cupcakes here. Okay, and then we're going to put this to the side along with our flowers, and we're going to do a little bit more die cutting. This time we're going to use the piping bag inside the Fluff Frost and Roll. So let's grab that. I'm going to die cut this out with some white cardstock, And then there's the piping band, and then the tip of it we're going to die cut out with the same color of cardstock that we use for our baking sheet. So we'll just cut these out and I'll be right back. Okay, there's deboss detail on here so you know exactly where to put them. So we'll just add a little glue, and then we can add the tip of our piping bag here, and then we can add the band. And that is all there is to that. These still need just a little bit longer to dry, so in the meantime we're going to work on our greeting. I'm going to trim down a piece of cardstock and we're going to grab our stamp set. In the sugared expressions, I'm going to use the greeting in here that says "You bake the world batter." And I'm using my VersaFine Clear ink. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of ink here. I'm going to stamp it on some white cardstock. Lovely. And then I'm going to use a banner die and cut this out. The banner die that I use has fishtail ends, but if you don't have one, all you have to do is fishtail the ends. I just went through my stash and found one that would fit this greeting. Okay, so there's my greeting, and I am going to pop this up with some foam tape. So we'll just put a thin strip behind here. I'm going to bring back my Berry Sweet pattern paper. There's 5 sheets of each pattern in here, and actually scrapbook.com has, let me show you, a bigger pack too. This is a 6x8. I think it's the same size, maybe. Yeah. So this size, the size in here, so the plaid in here is the same size in this larger pad. Okay, they actually sell this in a bundle. So I'll link this down below if you guys want the bundle. I actually specifically bought this for, I love the colors in here, and I bought this specifically for my Make It and Bake It collection. So it's super fun. I'm going to use behind the stripes are strawberries. Okay, but I'm going to use the pink and white stripe, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card base. And then this will be my background. Okay, now we have all the elements to put together our card. Okay, I'm going to take my cooling rack, and my cookies are done by now. I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to add a little adhesive behind here. Okay, and then we're going to layer them. And I'm going to layer them with a row. We're going to go a row of dark pink and then a row of light pink. You can layer them any way you like. Okay, and I'm layering them right on the cookie rack. Okay, and then what I'm going to do to give this cookie rack a little bit of dimension is flip it over. And then I'm going to use some foam squares. And I'm going to put it behind each one of the cookies and each one of the cupcakes. And then I'm going to take my cookie rack, and we're going to layer it directly on our cookie sheet or baking sheet. Do you guys call it a cookie sheet or a baking sheet? I call it both. But there it is. How cute is that? Okay, after this is done, we're going to add some adhesive behind here. And then this is going to go on our card base. And I'm going to put it in an angle. Okay, after that's adhered, I'm going to add my piping bag. I'm actually going to double up on the foam tape here. And since I'm going over glitter, I'm going to add a little extra glue. And we're going to add our piping bag here, kind of at an angle. Next, we're going to add our greeting. The greeting is going to go over here in the middle. Lovely. And then we're going to go ahead and add our flowers. I'm going to put one down here. And then for finishing touches, all I'm going to do is take my glaze and glue and go over those cherries. And then I'm going to bring in my diamond stickles, and I'm going to add a little sparkle to the flower centers. It doesn't take away from the pink, but it just adds the extra shininess. And that finishes off my card today. A fun little sweet card using the Make It and Bake It collection that I designed for Spellbinders. Hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't be afraid to mix and match those sets. It's really fun. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.